Hey guys, welcome back to episode 8 of the character tutorial series. In today's episode, I'm going to show you guys how I paint hair. Now, there are a million ways to go about doing this, and I'm not saying that this is the best way. It probably isn't, but it just comes down to your style and what's easier for you and what kind of brushes you use. And in my case, with the brushes I have, this is what feels the best. This is what feels the fastest. So this is that's gonna be this is really like my style of doing hair. So take it for what it is. And yeah, so I'm gonna start with the hairline, and this is a little bit more detailed hairline than in my previous tutorials. But I'm gonna use this for close-ups and a little bit when my portraits need a little bit more details. And what I'm gonna do is just create the silhouette for my hairstyle. So I'm not gonna go into details. I'm not gonna paint any strands. Just pretty much just the silhouette. So I would suggest when you come up with a new hairstyle, actually don't try to come up with a new hairstyle, because it's kind of like going. If you want to compare this to anatomy, it's kind of like trying to stylize the anatomy of a character without really knowing what's going on, without a good knowledge of anatomy. So most of the time it won't end up looking great. So take a lot of references. I mean, his hair is the easiest thing to reference, because you just look outside and you'll see a bunch of different haircuts. So just pick one and try to apply that to your character at first, and then go from there. And this is what I'm doing here. My hairstyle is really simple, and then I'm just gonna shade it very lightly, just to give it a little bit more depth. And after that, step 2, I am going to divide this big mass into smaller shapes. You can almost think of it as banana peels or really long leaves. And what this does, when you think of it that way, is that it just helps understand what's going on with the hair and how the strands are going to react with one another, how they're going to bend, how they're going to overlap. And if you went straight ahead with heavy details, it makes it really hard to give an interesting flow to your hair. At least I've never been able to do that successfully. So this is what I use. Kind of like everything else in art, you start with fewer details, and then you add on to it a little bit more, and then until it's done. But yeah, so this is how I simplify it. It's basically a long rectangle with a bunch of lines, and the way those lines are spread, kind of remind yourself of the rule of thirds. So in the middle I have my 1/3 that's pretty clean, there's nothing there, and then the 2/3 on the sides are going to be a little bit more heavy in lines, and then you pinch both ends of that rectangle, and it gives you an example of a strand of hair. After that, I just repeat the same thing throughout my hairstyle, and this should give me a pretty good spread of details. And once I have that, I'm ready to go ahead and detail those strands a little bit more. So I'm going to take a smaller brush, and then with a lighter shade of whatever color my hair is, and then go ahead and add a little bit of brush strokes here and there at the tips and where the highlights would hit. And after that, I just select the big soft brush set to overlay mode, select a brighter color, and then do a couple brush strokes where my light source would hit first, to give me this nice gradient. Then the final part will be those final highlights I'm working on right now, the smaller details. And those are basically just a big sphere, if you want to look at it this way, with its center sort of erased. And in this case, at least, that's what it is, because the top of the head is really flat, so it's all almost just a sphere. And if you had more complex hairstyle, obviously the light would react a little bit differently, so it wouldn't be this simple. But in this case, that's pretty much what it is. So whenever you have flat hair or like longer hair, that's gonna apply. Now with longer hair, also it makes it a little bit more difficult to sort of imagine how it's going to deform and all this stuff. But just think of a rectangle again, and how a rectangle deforms. It's just a very simple shape to imagine, and makes it a lot easier. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now you can see all the direction of my hair strands. And now just a different hairstyle to show that the same process applies for longer hair. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do every time. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful. So don't forget to subscribe. You know, tell your friends, tell your dog, and we'll see you guys next time.